Welcome to Discovering Africa Through Technology, the podcast series that showcases the brilliance of Africa's great minds, innovators, and experts as they tackle complex challenges with homegrown solutions driven by knowledge, technology, and innovation. Our podcast is inspired by the African Union Agenda 2063 Aspiration 7, which seeks to rebrand Africa and change negative narratives and perspectives through science, technology, and innovation. We believe that Africa has the power to solve its own development challenges and become a strong, united, resilient, peaceful, and influential global player and partner. Join us as we explore the transformative potential of technology in Africa with your host, Razia Kulatain Mwanga, and learn from the experts driving change on the African continent.
This month, we celebrate the International Women's Day theme on investing in women, accelerate progress through recognizing and honoring feminist African women change makers who have done exceptional work to invest in women and transform their lives to accelerate progress in their spheres of work and influence. Today, we celebrate Malkia wa Ardthi, Queen of Land Rights, advocate and activist, Dr. Monica Magoke Mhoja, the innovator and pioneer of Stand for Her Land Rights campaign, a landmark women access to land rights campaign that has changed and transformed women and the community in Tanzania and in Africa. Welcome to Discover Africa Through Technology, the home of African great minds and solutions. My name is Razia Kulatain Mwanga, and we welcome you today, Dr. Monica, to share your journey, how it all started, what you have done, and where we are in regard to this year's theme. Welcome, Dr. Monica.
Thank you very much. As I've been introduced, I'm Monica Magoke Mhoja, a lawyer, advocate of High Court in Tanzania, outreach director with the organization of Landesa in Africa, and also I'm an activist working with different organizations in Tanzania. To mention some of the organizations include Women in Law and Development in Africa, WULDAF as the chairperson, Women's Legal Aid Center in Tanzania as the chairperson. Those are some of the organizations which I work. There are more. One of the areas which I've been working, and I am very, very passionate about that, is women's land rights. When we talk about change makers, most of the time, the change makers are not alone. They have some supporters, they have some networks, they have some people around them. As a lawyer and activist, when I was working with the Women's Legal Aid Center, we were part of the campaign in Tanzania, which was led by the Women Lawyers Association, TAWLA, to actually make some change on our land laws. And one of the areas which I led was working with the communities, ensuring that they understand about land rights. And as a team, we managed to work with the government of Tanzania, and at the end, we got the progressive land laws in Tanzania. We normally boast and say the land laws 1999 within Tanzania are one of the progressive laws in Africa. Under these laws, women as men have equal rights to own, access, land, equal as men. And so I joined Landesa as the country director then in 2017. And in 2018, 2019, I was selected as one of the Beta Fellows. And one of the areas which I wanted really to work and be very innovative and contribute more was on the area of women owning land. And that was my project with the Beta Fellowship. Within Landesa, we had this campaign, Stand for Her Land campaign, with other partners at the global level But in Tanzania, I was one of the pioneers to ensure that the campaign, Stand for Land campaign, is being organized. I coordinated as part of the secretariat, and also we prepared a strategy to ensure that we are going to make some change on the ground. The most important aim for the Stand for Land campaign is actually knowing that 75% of the world's poor live in rural areas where land is fundamental asset and a primary source of income, a primary source of security, a primary source of opportunity and status. However, more than half of these families lack either access to land or secure stake in the land they till, and these are women. And so we understand that legal rights to land improve the resilience of families so they can climb out of extreme poverty. And that's why at Landesa, we decided to be part of the Stand for Land campaign to bridge the gap between law and practice. And as I said, land is the foundation. I normally say land is power, land is dignity, land is destiny, land is hope, is the foundation for shelter, livelihood, and climate resilience. So land is fundamental for survival. Although we have good laws even in Tanzania and in some other areas, but the practice is different. Still, a number of women do not access land. If they access, they don't own, they don't control land. That's why we thought it would be very important through the Stand for Land campaign to ensure that we are bridging the gap between law and practice. And we cannot achieve gender equality without women's equal rights to and control over the world's most elemental resource, that's land. Women's land rights are fundamental for human rights. That's why we decided that we are going to ensure that women, to facilitate women ownership of land, not only owning land, but also using land for economic purposes, and also ensuring that there is meaningful participation when they participate at local levels within the village. Stand for Land campaign with more than 24 organizations who work in different areas, and we've done a lot. One of the area which we've achieved is ensuring that we've increased the number of women who own land in Tanzania. And because Stand for Land campaign is not only in Tanzania, our colleagues in other parts of the world, like in Ethiopia, in Uganda, in Bangladesh, they are doing the same. They're ensuring that more women are accessing land, more women are controlling land. And we have a lot of good stories and testimonies about these successes. And of course, we are meeting some challenges. Patriarchal norms are still very common, and some other people, they think still is not our norm, our custom for women to own land. But these things are changing as we are continuing to create awareness for both men and women, and involving men as well, to ensure that they understand that if women are going to have access to land, they're actually going to increase a lot of benefits within the families.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monica. This is quite interesting. I love the idea of talking about land, that land is dignity, land is security, land is status. So when we look at the theme of this year, investing in women to accelerate progress, how has this investment in giving women the opportunity to own land changed and transformed their lives towards ending poverty and accessing their human rights?
Thank you very much. Actually, there are some research which have been done, and we have some general statistics within Landesa that secure land rights can make a difference for the world's poorest families. Research has shown that agriculture production has increased by 60%, and this for both men and women working together, and they have secure land rights. And also, annual family income has been increased by 150% because of secure land rights. And investment in property improvements has doubled. And also, a number of hours worked increased by 17%. We have some very good case studies in different parts of the world. In Tanzania, for instance, in an area called Mfindi, where we have worked to ensure that during land use planning, women are actually owning land and investing in land. What we have seen is more families, and especially who have secure land rights and have invested, they've increased the number of children staying in school. High school graduation rates doubled. That's generally. And also increased food on the table. When they invest more, they get more food on the table. They get extra food as a product to be sold, and then they get extra money to pay for school fees. So you find they're testifying that the investment has helped them to increase nutrition, maintain children at school, to ensure that they're even taking their children to hostels when they are sick, not only depending on local medication. Secure land rights has a lot of improvement within the families. And those are some of the concrete examples which were shared by some of the mothers, women farmers, who have shown that there is an advantage of having secure land rights and investing in land, reducing poverty through these multiple advantage and consequences. When we talk about food, we talk about nutrition, we talk about education, we talk about health issues. They are also connected on investing on land.
That's why they call you Malkia wa Ardthi, because you've told us the importance of and the value addition of the impact of investing in women access to land, because it has solved most of the problems, because you talk about food security, nutrition, economic empowerment, where women can take their children to school, families can sustain themselves. There is this data that says that we need at least 360 billion annually to make it possible to achieve gender equality by 2030. Listening to all that you have said, what is your take? How can we use land as an investment to achieve gender equality by 2030?
The secure land rights is very important, because you can have land, but if land is not secure, you are not confident in using the land. Women have said when their land is not secure, when they are not sure about their land, they're not even confident to plant permanent crops. But when they have secure land rights, it means they can ensure that whatever they are planting, smart agriculture, for instance, smart agriculture can help more production, can help more gender equality, social inclusion, and also learning to ensure that whatever they are getting is also keeping the climate in a safe place, and so that they're not even going to spoil their land. And if they're not spoiling their land, there is sustainability within the land on whatever they are doing, and that it will help them a lot to ensure that they're going to invest properly, and in investing, they are going to increase their production, and increasing their production, we are going to win the SDGs, and in Africa, the Agenda 2023, the Africa we want. In short, that's what I can say.
So finally, what is your advice as we celebrate? What can you tell the world on the importance of investing in women to accelerate progress?
When we are talking about women, we are talking about more than half of the population of the global. So if you ignore women, you ignore progress. If you ignore women, you are not going to accelerate the progress of what we want to achieve. So don't ignore women. Invest on women and invest effectively. Ensure that women are participating, meaningful participation. And when you are investing in land, make sure that the land you're investing is secure for women, not only on talks and discussions, but this should be on the ground, properly done, meaningful implementation, meaningful participation. You can't ignore more than half of the population of this world. Invest them properly in land, and we are going to achieve.
Wow, thank you again, Dr. Monica.
Emphasize for governments, development organizations, and policymakers to accelerate land rights for their citizens, and also to include land rights as a cornerstone component to alleviate extreme poverty when, of course, investing in women.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Monica. That was very insightful. And when I read all these stories that are telling us that there is no financing for gender equality, and that also there is no financing to invest in women, listening to your story of how investing in women, access to land rights has improved and changed and transformed women's lives, I am inclined to understand that if we want to achieve gender equality, food security, human rights, and poverty, and all the other vices, the most important thing is that we need to invest in women's access to land. Because when we give women land, we give them not only dignity, but we also give them an opportunity to invest and get money out of it. We are giving them security. We are securing their status. Thank you again, Dr. Monica. That governments should invest in land for women and make sure that women have access to land, because experience, research has shown that giving women access to land can change their lives and livelihoods. So until next time, as we celebrate 2024 International Women's Day, we believe that investing in land is one of the most fundamental rights and opportunities to create sustainable communities and empowering more women to accelerate impact and change. This is your host, Razia Kulatein Mwanga. God bless and see you next time. Thank you.